Hi, good morning. Today I'm gonna make a tutorial for the new rose templates I have. And so far I have the large, I have the medium, I have the small, and I have the mini roses. This tutorial actually I'm making the small rose like this one. But this tutorial also applies the same principle and the same way in making roses with templates for the mini size rose and the large rose, the medium rose, using the 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. So I know it's pretty self-explanatory, but for those who are new to paper flower making, this is the 12 by 12, 12 inches and 12 inches, and this is the A4 cardstock, which is most common most common in the store that you can find. This is like 8.5 by 11. So as I said, this tutorial I'm making right now is also can be used with a medium size rose using the 12 by 12 paper. So let's start. So pretty basic. You will need your templates, and let's talk about our templates later on. We need our templates and we need to cut it. I already pre-cut mine. I have my scissors. I have my base. I have my pipe wire, which is 1/4 of 1 strip. Let's set this all aside, the things that I'm not using. I have my dowel rods. I use this one to curl my petals, and basically in this particular rose template, since it is small, I'm using the smallest one, and for my medium I'm using my medium one, and for the mini I'm using the stick glue, although I'm not really a big fan of stick glue. It's not as stable as the dowel rod, but since I don't have a smaller size than my small, and I think the stick glue is smaller than my small, so I'm using my stick glue to curl the petals of my mini roses. And I also have my mighty glow gun. I know it's not the fanciest kind, but it really serves its purpose, and it's really giving me, job for like 6 months now. And I have my extra stick glue. So let's talk about our our templates, I mean. So with a small rose, basically you will use 6 sheets of paper, and I believe this template is a lot more efficient when it comes to using cardstock compared to the other templates. This one measures like 8 to 9 inches, and we only use 6 templates, 6 sheets of paper. So how did I do that? So let me get a sheet of cardstock here. So this is an A4. As I said, it's 8.5 by 11. So with the when you purchase a template for me, you will get 3 files. This is the 1A, this is the 1B, and this is the 2. So that's the kind of templates that you will get, and most likely we're gonna list it on our Etsy, and it's gonna be instant download. And what you are going to do once you have the files, so this is our A1, and I cannot do anything, you know, to make more use of this one here. So with I use one piece of A1, 1A, and that's how I trace it and then cut it. And then I use two of 1B. And as much as I want to conserve more, I really cannot snake it all in an A4. So basically, I just trace and cut, and then cut it from here, and then this side I reserve it to use in my other project. I have a box that's full of, you know, like cutouts that can be used in case I'll be running out of some colors. So I uses two of this 1B, and I have 12. I will use 12 of this template, which is the 2. So how do I able to achieve on sticking my numbers of cardstock with this template? So basically, the way how I arrange it is like this: trace and cut. So that's how it's gonna look like. So the way how I do it, I trace, and then I added two more other sheets of cardstock. So it's gonna be like I'm cutting 3 cardstock at one time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all gonna be all I need, you know, which is 12. So that's how I stick with my numbers of 6 sheets of cardstock in one flower. So let's try to see how are we going to use this A4 with the mini roses. So this is the mini. This is how the mini looks like. This is the 2 templates, and 1 and 1A, and then 1B. Although I'm only gonna use 1A, one of 1A, you know, to make it more efficient. Like for example, if you're making not just one but multiple number of mini roses, I used to do it this way. So I only need one in one flower, so that makes it, you know, I consume half of the sheet in every this particular template in every flower. So when it comes to 1B, I also do the same. So I trace and cut. So I need one of this one, since I needed 2 pieces of this particular template, which is 1B. So now I already had 1.5 sheet of cardstock. And what about the outer petals? The way how I lay it is like this, horizontally. So trace and cut, and this is the way how I trace it. And as much as I want to make it 4, I really can't. It's only 3, you know, to maintain the beauty and the dignity of the flower. So I also do the same on the other side. So 3 here and 3 here, so it's gonna be 6. And then after I trace it, I put another cardstock underneath. So I'm cutting 2 sheets of cardstock at one time, so that makes my 12 outer petals. So that's for the mini. And now let's go to our 12 by 12 sheet. So this is our 12 by 12, and this is our 1A, and this is our 1B. Again, the same principle. I need 1 of 1A and I need 2 of 1B. So see, it's almost at the edge, so it's pretty impossible to make this template on an A4, because if you can see, this is the A4, and look at the portion of petals that's overflowing on an A4. So really can't use into it, but I have remedy, and I'm gonna make another tutorial for that. So this is my first template for medium size using A4, and again I'm gonna use 1 of 1A and then 2 of 1B. So that makes it 3 sheets of cardstock just for the bud. So what about the outer petals? The way how I do it, so see, I trace 4 petals in a sheet. So that's how it looks like. So trace it, and then I put another 2 other sheets behind after I trace it, and then I cut 3 sheets together with 4 petals on it, so that makes up my 12 outer petals I needed in a medium size rose using the 12 by 12. So I think we all covered the way how I trace and maintain the number of sheets that I need on a rose. So let's proceed on the process on how to make the rose. 1 second, I really need my coffee. I cannot function. I'm sure many of you can relate to me that, you know, our day doesn't start without our 4th cup of coffee. So far it's like 9:30, and I'm having my 4th cup of coffee. So now let's start the process. So let's group this one. So this is 1A and this is 1B. And then we have our 12 outer petals, which we have to group in 3. So in each group we have 4 petals in it. So 4, 4, and 4. So that's how the grouping looks like. So I always begin with a bud when I'm making, you know, a giant rose. Like if you watch my other rose tutorial, and it applies the same thing, especially with this real like rose design, not just a center, but really from the center you have to work outwards. So it's not like you can work on your outer petals and then just put your center in the middle. No, this is a different rose. This rose you have to work from the bud. It's compulsory. There's no other way, you know, out. So we need to start from our bud. To start our bud, same principle with the rose bud. Let's start with a smaller one, which is the 1B of our templates. So just a little recap. What I said earlier, when you buy these new templates from me, you will get different three different templates. One is for 1A, and then 1B, and then the 2. So again, I need 1 of 1A, 2 of 1B, and then 12 petals of the 2. So let's start by making our bud. So same way as we're making our rose bud, just start by folding it to create a square like in the middle. So then I'm now going to hug the 2 opposing petals together and make sure that there's a little hole in it, you know, to give it a more realistic look. Just squeeze a very light glue in there. You don't really need much. All you need is just to hold it in place and then twist it, and then again doing the same thing on the other side. So now there's our very first bud. Let me check first if I am on. Yes, I am on focus. Great. Because my husband sometimes told me that, you know, some of my tutorials are away from the camera side. So I'm trying to make sure that, you know, right now I'm doing it the right way. So again, using the 2 remaining petals on our bud, unlike with the first one, we cannot just hug it like that. Although we can, yes we can, but I would prefer it to do it this way, 1 petal at a time. So again, squeeze a little glue in there, and if you notice, unlike with the very first 2, now I try to create a decent distance from the very center bud to my next petals. Again, I'm doing the same with the 1 remaining petal on our clover bud. There it is. So that's our centermost. So again, next we're going to use our second piece of 1B. So just a little glue and try to place it as center as you can. And if you notice, this is the part here where I last had my hug of my last petal. So this is the side where I'm gonna do first for the, you know, second layer. So let's start with, again, small amount of glue. First thing, you don't want it too much because it's gonna be so hot. Second, you know, it gives a cleaner look if, you know, you make it stable yet you are not using an overflowing glue that you can visibly see on your rose or your petal. So just enough to hold the petal on the center bud. And if you saw my last tutorial, you have to sometimes, especially, you know, like a recycled cardstock, you really need to hold it in a good number of seconds, because sometimes the glue is not as sticky to when it comes to the recycled paper compared to the new ones. So now it's starting to have a form in it. So again, let's do the same thing with our petals, the two last outer ones. Make sure that, you know, we press it well enough that it won't really detach from the center. And the last thing you don't like is to redo the glue and having the white residue all over your other petals. So now we have our bud. So the next thing we need to do is to attach this one in our third clover, which is the larger one piece, but larger. But first thing we need to do is to curl the petals outward to give it a more defined look and more, you know, curly look into it, give it a more natural look. So all petals curled outward. That's how I like it. I haven't tried curling outward and inward when it comes to rose, but maybe I will try soon, because I feel like, you know, this one is already a good way of putting a rose together. But I think I really have to try how does it looks like, and I'm gonna share it to you soon. So now our last clover template is curled outward. Now we can put our bud, and again, as center as we can. So there it is. Now we can start gluing our curled petals, you know, towards our bud. And again, you know, maintain a decent distance. Don't hold it inward too tight. I'm gonna show you later one of my very first work, and some of my Etsy buyer was asking, you said it's gonna be 5 inches, why it looks like you know, it's only 3. Well, because the tightness really have a factor of your bud. The tight you get, the smaller your center or your bud will be. So, you know, it doesn't, you cannot get it in your very first attempt. It needs a constant practice, but eventually you will master the, you know, as you go on. Even in the very early stage, you know already that particular bud or that particular petals won't work or not. So just be patient to yourself, you know. Things are not learned, most of the things are not learned overnight or in one day. So just be patient and, you know, try to learn more and more every day, and don't stick on the normal. So for me, that's how I really learn. I have the basic, but since I want to, you know, learn more, I really keep on learning. I don't stop because I have the basic. I experiment, and, you know, once the experiment is great, then you guys know the rest. You know, I share it with you on my Etsy, on my Instagram. So now our bud is complete. So this is how our small rose start. And let me let me show you the difference between my first work of bud and this one. I'm using the same number of petals, one 1A and two 1B, but look at the difference. This one I make it too tight, so maybe some would prefer this, but this is what I prefer. You know, this one consumes lesser number of paper, which is, if you are in paper flower backdrop business, is a good thing. This one, I had hard time gluing it because once it's very close to each other, so once I put the hot glue in it, the steam of the glue melts the other glue I made on the previous petals. So it's glue in here, but this one is sticking out. So I don't really recommend that you're gonna do it tightly, because that's the result I had before. And this is the distribution of petals I would prefer. So now we're done with our bud. Let's proceed to our outer petals. So we group our 12 outer petals into 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And what we will do, what I do, and you can follow if you want, but you can also do different way if you know you have other preference. I curl it together because it's not that I'm lazy, but I work smarter, not harder. So I also curl this one outward. And if you can see, our bud doesn't really look like, you know, the nice circular rose that we always want. So to address that, what we need to do is to locate the corner of our base. So it's like it's a square base now. It's a box instead of having a rounded shape. So what we can do, locate that, and then just, this is the line, imaginary line, which is like the start of the base and the root of your petal. Dab a little glue here, just a little glue, and find the center and attach it to your petal, to your bud. So this is how it looks like. See that this is the center and that's your corner. So that's how we're going to address and give remedy on the square-like base that we have. And to secure it more, you see, I am not really the type of person that would all the glue around the base, but the way I do it in a clean way, I just give a little dab of glue to the portion that I think, you know, would need some hold towards the towards our bud. So there it is. It is secure, and all we need to do is to hug this gorgeous petal towards our bud. So if you can see, there's like a corner, like it's not really corner because it's curved, but it's like an imaginary curvy box. So that's where we're going to put our glue. So again, press inward and then bring it together to your bud. See? Again, because I love to do symmetry, you can do it, you know, one petal next to each other, but I would prefer, you know, to do it in opposite sides almost all the time. The way how I really do it is, you know, to check if it is balanced first. See, if it is proportional size to the other, and then just sneak a little glue in there, enough to give it a security while you are working on your other part of the petal, so it's secure. Now we need to secure it more by dabbing some glue at the root part of your petal. So I think it's secure enough now. Then again, let us hug this one towards our bud. See? Great. So 2 more petals on this layer, doing the same thing. You know, you don't have sometimes the line is not really an indication. You really have to double check it if it's gonna give you the same distance of petal, or the same petal amount that's showing on the outer side of your rose. You also have to adjust if it's too much or too little. So again, just a little glue, and then secure it, and then reinforce its security later. I think I need more hot glue stick. So I think it's secure. So let's reinforce the glue, you know, just to make sure that it's totally secure. Then again, dab some glue on the corner, like, and you know, if you think the paper is stiff enough that it won't follow when you know, grab it all together, because there are some, especially the thicker ones, when you do it like this, it would create like some folds. You want to avoid that. So before you do the gluing towards your bud, you need to like semi-massage it or do it this way, so you know, it gives a nice and clean curl into it. So now it's time for us to glue this one towards our bud. Three down, 1 more to go in this layer. So what we can do, because our rose is getting larger and my fingers, you know, it's not enough to really hold and cover it all together, what we can do is just dab a little glue in here, and while it's hot, you can check and adjust, you know, the position of your petal. So again, reinforce the root with just some dab of glue. You don't really, you know, you don't really want to add too much in it. I don't want to, because I don't want to waste my glue. If I can reinforce and secure it in just a little amount, I would, because even the stick glue is a bit expensive. So again, let's glue this one inward. So our first layer of our petal number 2, or the number 2 in this particular templates, the first layer is done, which is, you know, the 4 pieces around. Still, it looks square, but as you go outwards, it gonna, you know, look more circular rather than, especially rather than being square, especially when we add our final 4 pieces of petals. And I have a technique how to make it, you know, give the illusion of making it more rounded rather than square. So again, I have 4 petals in here from our second group, and again, I'm gonna curl it outwards. So excuse me. Again, locate for the corner, or, you know, the center of your last 2 petals, and to, you know, give it a good size, it's like almost half of the root I am with, but you know, you can do it whatever your preference it, but this is how I expand the size. This is really crucial. Again, you can dab some glue in here. This is crucial to, you know, to make your small rose looks larger compared to just, you know, sticking it to the base. So secure. See, if you can see, almost half of the root, no, quarter of the root I glue from here, so it's like quarter or 1/3. Instead of gluing it from here, I glue from here. And again, give it a little massage, and then let's glue this one to our bud, closer towards our bud. And if you notice, the way I glue it, I hold 2 petals and I try to squeeze it inward to give this curl in here, and then just press it with my thumb. So it will take some practice, and again, you know, I mean, maybe you will, but most likely it's not gonna be you won't learn this one and become a master overnight. It takes constant practice. Even me, I'm the maker of this petal. I still have, especially sometimes I have a hard time doing it, but as time goes by, I become, you know, more comfortable doing it. So this is how it looks like. Let's add glue here, but first let's give it a good massage and just squeeze it inward, and then press this one with your thumb. Okay, so now our last 2 in this layer. Okay, so again, reinforce the root. And then give it a nice curly massage at the middle, and again, more glue. and press it. Squeeze and press. So one last petal in this layer. Okay, so again I able to secure it to the place I want. I'm just gonna reinforce it again. And hold it and clean this like web like glue gun stuff around, you know, as you go. So the fourth and final petal for this layer, again give it a good massage and then have some glue in there and then squeeze and hold it and stick it to your this two previous petals. So as you can see, it looks better but not really the perfect rounded rose that we all want. And that's where our last batch of petals comes in. So again, let's gonna curl this one outward, curl this outward. So again, our fourth and final set of petals are curled. So now what we can do, if you realize, you see this one has like an inch gap from the last petal, from the first batch of four twos that we have. The distance of the second batch of, or the second layer of petals is like an inch from this one. So what we can do to create, you know, to visually give an illusion that it's rounded, instead of doing it like having another inch away from here, what we will do is to, you know, glue it in a way that it only has like maybe 0.25 or 0.20 inch in it. So it's closer than this one. So let's try. And it's gonna be a little bit more complicated, you know, in this part, but as you master it, it will really get easier. So you see, without even gluing the petal yet, you can see that it creates a more rounded area here. So before we do anything, let us secure the roots. So it's secure. And then now we need to dab some glue in there, and although we're going to, you know, press it inward but not too much, just a little bit to give a little curl in it. And if you can see, the distance is not really so far from this petal compared to this one, from this layer to this layer. So see, it gives a more rounded illusion in it. Next thing is this one. So let's have some glue. Let's try to see. Okay, I think it's enough. And then now let us secure the roots. And then glue it together. Again, not too far, not too curly in this area, because this one, the last set of petals that we have, it's just like a reinforcement to make sure that we have a rounded part, or the rounded rose. What's really crucial is the first and the second layer that gives it, you know, expansion of size. So if you wanted to expand size, do it from the first 2 layers, and then have your third and final layers just a reinforcement to make sure that you have a rounded like rose. So just a little dab, and then the way how I hold it, and then just to make sure that it's enough. So I think it's good. All I need is to reinforce the roots. Then dab some glue. See, almost done. We're down to our final and last petal in this layer. So I think it's finished. Reinforce the root. And dab some glue again for our final petal. See, if you can see, it's more rounded now than earlier. So now we have our rose. This is the back side. And as I said earlier, let's clean the web-like stuff from the hot glue. So now we have our rose. And actually, if you are just going to, you know, stick it on your wall, there's no problem. You don't have to put a base on it. But if you are going to hang it, you know, like on some fabrics, you really need to do this step. So because it's a small one, you know, I think a 3 inches would do. 3 inches diameter circle would do to cover the base. And also another purpose of putting the base is to make sure that, you know, your hanger is secure on your flower when you are going to hang this one. So this is the circle base. This is the pipe wire, and I'm sticking the pipe wire into my base, and now I'm gonna glue it at the base of my rose. And another purpose was why I wanted to have the base is to, you know, try to hide the imperfection on the back side. So when you put a base in it, you know, it just doesn't give security to your hanger, which is the pipe wire, but it also, you know, hide all the imperfections you have at the back side. And I made this idea because one of my client who wanted to have her wall all roses, but the thing is she don't want, I cannot hang all the roses in uh, the wall. I need to pin it, you know, because she wanted to put like their names and their wedding date, and then after the event they're going to give the flowers away to all their guests as a remembrance, and they have their event name underneath. So that's how I came up with the solution. So, and I like it. So now, ladies, we have our rose, and I hope you like it. As I said, this tutorial applies the same method with our mini rose, which is this one, and the medium size rose using 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. So I hope you like it, and I hope this tutorial helped. So thank you again for watching.